Learners and parents, welcome to the Wits presentation. I'm sure you're going to find this presentation very, very informative. I'm going to hand over to Sharon Mashao, who's going to take you through the presentation now. We will stop at three particular points to ask questions, popular questions. We do have staff from various departments, including the Student Enrollment Center, Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, Residence Office, and Wits Sport here. So please, you're welcome to ask your questions on the chat functionality, but we will also read out the popular questions at those particular points and have people answer your questions. So please do ask. Thanks, Shaz.
Sorry guys, Sash, can you please just maybe tell everyone where exactly are we going to be stopping?
Okay, so we are going to be stopping at the 3 points. So it will be after the APS calculation.
APS?
We will obviously, and then we will stop after the how to apply slide, which is the 5 different steps. And then we'll stop at the, obviously at the end, and we'll do questions at the end.
And okay. All right. Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
They can.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm having technicalities here. I can't seem to. Okay, I can move them. Okay, let me just start. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome. My name is Sharon Mashao. I'll be sharing the presentation with you. As highlighted, there's certain areas that I'm going to stop whereby you can ask questions, and in those areas that I will stop, there will be different people. As Session is the coordinator, there will be different people that will assist in answering questions there. All right, first and foremost, why Wits? Anyone can be asking themselves, okay, why should I choose Wits? Well, if we look at the rankings, Wits is one of the top 2 universities in the country, and actually not only in the country, but in Africa. And among the world, we are within the 250 universities globally ranked. You can see the slide there that gives the different rankings where we are. Interestingly, in Africa, we are number 1 as far as our humanities faculty is concerned. That is from the Times Higher Education Rankings 2020. So this actually gives us a good stand. It actually tells that, you know, not only are we the top, but we are very good academically as well as research-wise. Well, what is the academic journey really? Now, the academic journey starts post-matric. You'll first start with your first bachelor degrees, which it could be 3 years or 4 years, depending on the stream that you're taking or the faculty that you're going to go into. You'll see that when we get to the faculties, your honors degrees, it will be your next step, which is a year or 2. Again, it will depend on the faculty. Masters, usually 2 years to 3 years, and your PhD can take anything from 3 years to 5 years, depending on the time that you will have to do your research. Now, talking about research again, we have partners with quite a lot of universities across the globe. You can see them coming up there. These partnerships are based on different interactions between us and those universities. It's different memorandums of understanding, be it research, exchange students. It can actually be a situation whereby we exchange lecturers. So this actually helps us to be competitive worldwide because we share knowledge with some of the top universities across the globe. As far as our resources are concerned at Wits, we've got quite a vast setup of resources. We've got very good infrastructural resources, which is also technological. Our Tshimologong Hub is one of our technological hub where learners can go there and explore their technological innovations. We've got very good digital resources, which also include online resources like your online libraries, your smart boards and things like that. And also we've got very good technological resources, which actually helps us to be masters and frontiers in science as far as the 4th Industrial Revolution is concerned. Now, as far as employability is concerned, Wits to date has produced in the markets. Now we're talking about now linking vets as far as the students that graduate at the vets, how well do they fit into the market, or how well do they fit into the industry that they go into. Now, as it stands now, 97% of our vets graduates obtain employment within a period of 6 months of graduating. Now, this is a good result because it simply means that we don't just produce graduates for the sake of them getting a degree, but we also produce graduates that are relevant to the industry. So I would say it's very good that you get yourself qualification from our institution. Now, choosing your programs, we've got 3,416 courses, which are spread across 33 schools, which are situated in 5 faculties. Now, our faculties is Commerce, Law and Management, Engineering and the Built Environment, Health Sciences, Humanities and Sciences. As much as we would like to admit everyone that apply at Wits, well, of course, based on whether you make it into the qualification or not, the reality is that we, just like any other institution, resources are limited. If you can see there on the screen that we received 69,000 applications in terms of warm bodies. Now, these applications of 69,000, keep in mind that one learner get chances to apply for 3 qualifications. So you can just do the maths there. So 69,000 applications for first year, and we only had spaces for 4,900. And that is the number of learners that we accepted this year. So the trick there is really to say, don't delay and make sure that you just apply in time. And again, I think it's very important to also apply for qualification that when you do your ABS or when you look at your marks, you can see, you know what, I will fit in this one. If not this one, maybe that one. It's very important that you go through that exercise. You will see in the next slide that I'm going to share, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation whereby you just apply for the sake of applying and you don't even make it to that qualification, Now, let's go into the admission points. Now, NSC gives you certain scales in terms of what you get when you write your exams. Now, as much as we also look into those scales, we also look into our own VETS scaling. Now, this is how we give you points. Anything between levels 1 and 2, which is your 0 to 39, we don't give you any point. Just keep that in mind. We start counting your points from level 3, with the exception to life orientation. Now, I want us to focus on column 3 from far left, I think, yeah, from the beginning. Now, you'll see that it says 3 to 8. And it's 49 from 40 to 49, and we've got a 90 to 100 where we give you a level 8 there, whereby NSC will just say 7, it's 80 to 99. So we give you an extra level there, point there, which is the 8th point at 90 to 100. Your maths and English, you'll see there, if you get 60% and above, we'll give you extra 2 points. And those 2 points, you can add them on top of the levels that you get, and we'll give you up until the 8th level. So if you get 90 to 100, you'll get 8 plus 2, that will be 10 points, which is very good. Life orientation, we count it, but we start counting it at level 1, 60%. Now, our 60% will be 1 right up until 90 to 100, which is level 4. Now, any other subject, be it your history, your AP Maths, AP Science, you name any other subject that you're doing, we count it on that column that says other subject, and we start counting it from level 3 to level 8. Is there any question? Any question?
Okay, Shaz, so we've just got a question about utilizing results when applying, which results or which report should be utilized when applying. And just to clarify that you will use your final grade 11 results. So no interim grade 12 results are required, or interim matric results are required. We will then reassess your application based on your final grade 12 results. So I just wanted to clarify that. We had a question around quantity surveying that is obviously offered under the construction studies. We had a question about applying online or when to apply. Obviously, applying online is your best route at the moment. So www.wits.ac.za, and you can click on the study at Wits, and then you can go through the application process. But Sharon is going to be covering how to apply shortly, as well as the closing dates. I'm just checking if there are any other questions. That seems like it for now. I just have another question here that's popped up. It's about medicine and surgery. Okay, it's quite an elaborate question, so I'm going to just leave that for the guys at the Student Enrollment Center to answer. We'll maybe just get back to that. Okay. Yeah, so you can continue, Shaz, and then we'll take some of these questions towards the next segment.
Toward the next segment, okay. I think some of the questions actually will be more answered when we start tackling the different faculties.
Correct.
So, okay, let's go forward. Now, the first faculty that we're going to look into is Commerce Law and Management. Now, we've got different qualifications in there. As I've said before, we've got a range of courses in different schools in 5 faculties from my previous slide. Now, the first faculty here, Commerce Law and Management, if you want to get into a BCom General, whereby you can do general or choose any of the specified specialization at the top block, your minimum APS required there is 39. It's a 3-year qualification. Maths and English are core at level 5. Should you wish to go into accounting science and economic science, please note you will need 42 APS. It's a 3-year qualification. Your language, English, you will need level 5, and your maths, it will be level 6. Bachelor of Commerce with Law, as well as LLB. Bachelor of Commerce Law is 3 years, LLB is 4 years, 43 APS for both of them. Now, with Bachelor of Commerce Law, you will need core maths, which is at level 5, English is at level 5, and LLB, you can do it with maths lit, but please note, your maths lit as well as your language should be at level 6. The next faculty is Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. Now, with the with the engineering part of this faculty, the qualifications that are engineering specific, like your Bachelor of Science in Engineering, including biomedical engineering and digital arts, those are your engineering qualifications. You will notice there that all those qualifications, the only difference, right up, if you look from the top right up until digital arts, you will notice that the only difference there is the year of study, which the first block gives you 4 years of study, and the bottom 2 studies until digital art gives you 3 years of study, but the requirements are the same. It's 42 APS, maths, English, and physics at level 5s. If we go into the built environment, where it starts with architectural studies right through to property studies, different APS there, years of studies, 3 years, with exception to property studies. For architecture, you will need 34 APS, English at level 4, maths at level 4, no physical science requirement. Please keep in mind, if you're going to go into architectural studies, you will be required to submit additional, either they will ask you to send you the drawing and also ask you maybe to do an interview. So you will have to do some drawing exercise there to submit in order to meet the entry requirements. Now, urban and regional planning, construction studies, as well as property studies is 36 APS, maths, English at levels 5. Please note the built environment doesn't have a science requirement, but that doesn't mean that if you do physical science, we won't count it. We'll just count it as any other subject. Faculty of Health Sciences. Now, this is one of those faculties that we don't count APS scores. It's actually the one faculty that we don't count APS scores. But you still need to meet certain levels in order for you to, stand a chance maybe to be able to make it into Wits. Now let's start at the top. Maybe let me just start by just giving you a brief idea as to how do we calculate entry requirements there. Now we use your NBT test together with the actual percentages that you got from your subject. So what we're going to do, we're going to use that 50% of what you got with your subject up until 5 subjects, and we're going to use also your NBT test results. We're going to take 50% from there, add them together. What we get there, we call the composite index point. That's what we use. Please keep in mind there is a requirement there that says in the other faculty subjects, you'll find that there's a life science and or physical science. Now I'm going to go through that thoroughly so that you understand very well, because we do have qualification that will require you science, both science and life science, others is an and or. Let's start with Bachelor of Health Sciences with specialization in biomedical science, biokinetic, as well as health science systems. It's a minimum of 3 years, maths, English, physics, and or life science at levels 5. Clinical medical practice, you've got 3 years, English and maths at level 4, maths lit at level 7, life science and or physics at level 4. Medicine, note it's a 6-year qualification, maths, English, physics and or life science at level 5. Now note, if you want to go into dental science, you will be required to have both life science and physical science. Oral health, you can go into oral health with maths at level 4 or maths lit at level 7. Now you can see there's some qualifications with stars there, with exception to nursing. Nursing has a note already. Now for those that don't have notes, please note dental science, oral health science, occupational therapy, and physiotherapy, you will be required to do some sort of observation hours, which is what is the famous name for that for the learners is your job shadowing. So you will be required to do that. That's 15 hours of observation, and then with those hours you will need to submit a form. There's a form that you'll have to download online, and then you will have to make sure that you complete that form. In actual fact, the person that you're going to go to will have to submit that form to us, sign it, and then you will submit it with the hours that you would have done. Faculty of Humanities, Bachelor of Arts. Now in the Faculty of Humanities, we've got quite a whole range of qualifications. In actual fact, just Bachelor of Arts in Bachelor of Arts General, there's a whole lot of specializations that you can go into there. They range from, it can be psychology, it can be archaeology, it can be history, political science. There's a whole lot that you can choose from there. Now that qualification, minimum APS is 34, English at level 5, Bachelors of Arts in Law, APS 43, English 5, Maths 3, Maths Lit 4. Bachelor of Arts in Digital Arts, Dramatic Arts, Film and Television, Fine Arts, as well as Music, 34 APS. English level 5, you will be required to submit additional, either some additional requirements will be required from you. It's either you will have to submit audition, portfolio of evidence, or a written assignment. Should you wish to go into education, foundation and intermediate phase, 36 APS, English at level 5, maths level 4, maths lit level 5. Senior phase, 36 APS, English at level 5. Speech language pathology, audiology, and social work. There's some stars there that tells you that you will have to write NBT test. And please note, if you're going into social work, you only have to write the English part of the NBT test. 34 APS for your qualification, English at level 5. For speech language pathology and audiology, you will be required to have maths at level 4. Faculty of Sciences. In the Faculty of Sciences, we've got Science, Bachelor of Science General, whereby you will need 40 APS, Maths and English at level 5. Bachelor of Science in the fields of biological science, geology and archaeology and geospatial. You will also need 40 APS, Maths and English at level 5. Now, starting from Bachelor of Science in geological and physical sciences. Please note the requirements starts changing there. If you look into from geological science right up until material science, there's a whole lot of levels that you need to reach based on the different qualifications there. It could be that maths and physics are at level 6s, or your English is at level 7 and maths at level 6. So you need to make sure that you look into those requirements very carefully. Just a typical example, if we go into astronomy and astrophysics, you'll see the APS there is higher, as well as the last one on material science is 43 APS. Your English is at level 5, maths is at level 6, science is at level 6. Your architecture is 777. So it's very important that you go and check the requirements. Again, if you look into computer science and mathematics or finance there, you will see also that maths you will require level 6, but there's no science requirement. How to apply? All our applications are online. Closing dates, I'll give you the closing date later after this slide, but please note, this is how you're going to apply. You have to go online, get your details online, go to Wits website, get your details online, choose your program, upload the supporting document as requested, you pay your application fee, you submit your application, and then you'll be able to access the self-service portal in order for you to check your application status. Session, can I do the closing dates maybe before the questions?
I think let's maybe hold off on the closing dates for now. I just wanted, I don't want to go too far ahead until we answer some of these questions. I'm just going to go from the top, just so that we don't miss any questions that were asked. I'm just going through it quickly. So there was a question, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from a student that's currently studying at university that probably wants to try and get into medicine. I'm going to ask if one of the colleagues from the Student Enrollment Center could maybe address that particular question. There was a question about technical science. Once again, if we can get some assistance from the colleagues from the Enrollment Center. It was about technical science being used instead of physical sciences for construction studies. I'll repeat some of the questions that have been answered. Okay, no, sorry. So that question actually has been answered. So yeah, technical science has been answered. Pharmacy question, there was a question about subjects being required for pharmacy. I think you've gone through that as well. BCom and information systems was covered. And I think that was a question around IT. There was a question around the GIM and what will get you into, or what's preferable to study if you want to get into GIM. And that was basically any degree that has biology, chemistry, or physics at first year university. And there's a question about computer sciences or electrical engineering. So electrical engineering, obviously being a 4-year professional engineering degree, where you would have to go into either the heavy current or the light current. Electrical does include sort of the information engineering as well. So you could delve into computers, but if you're doing a computer science degree, that would be under a Bachelor of Science, which you've just gone through. So that would be predominantly the difference there. Okay, there was a question about nursing. I'm not sure if the person that posted that question could just elaborate on that question. What would you like to know about nursing? But Shaz, you can continue, and we'll try and field the rest of the questions at the end of the presentation.
Okay. Okay. All right. Can I continue?
Yes, go for it.
All right. All right. Closing dates: 30th of June all health science qualifications, all health science programs, architecture, audiology, film and television, speech language pathology. 30th of September is all other subject qualifications, including residence. Now, I'm done with faculties. We're going to look into other things that you will need as far as getting into varsity is concerned. So what I'm going to share now, it's some few slides till the end of the presentation, where we're going to start with fees, which is how to pay for your fees. Now, paying for your fees, it could be self-funding, it could be from parents, guardians, religious groups, it could be from bursaries, it could be bank loans, it could be NSFAs. The one that I want to get your attention to is that if there's those learners that are qualifying to apply for NSFAS, this is how it works. If your household income is less than 350,000, you get an NSFAS funding, which you don't have to pay back. Now, if your family household income is between 350 and 600,000, what government says is that you get kept cover. So the increase in university fees is what they will cover. You'll still be required to pay for your fees, but the increase in universities fees, the government will, NSFAS will have to cover for that. Now, one thing that I also want you to remember is that you will need some sort of money when you start your first year, more so in the first, and sometimes you'll find that also in the second month. There are certain expenses that you'll need to cover. You'll need to have some small money to cover those expenses, and that will really include things like your meals, your clothing. Sometimes you'll find that you will have to buy some few textbooks before actually the funding comes in. The reason why we always tell you this is because you'll find that with NSFAS and also with other bursary funders, if they are the ones, if you depending on an organization or an institute to pay your fees, sometimes those fees will come late. They won't really come in time, but there are things that you still need to get. You still need to get your laptop. Others will still need to get your phone. You still need to, go and see a doctor or go and visit a clinic. If you are sick, you still need to move around. So you will need some cash to do all those things, just to cover you until such time that you receive your funding. So that is very, very important. Well, as far as Wits scholarships are concerned, we have different scholarships at Wits. They range from equality scholarships, which to your university entrance scholarship. I'm going to just touch on the few. While the equality scholarship is basically for your quintile 1 and 2 schools, whereby it covers your tuition fees in full. Your vice chancellor scholarship, it's for your top 10 most outstanding matriculants in the country. You've got also your National Olympiad scholarship. Is for those who won the National Olympiad competitions. Sports scholarship, I'm not sure if Shaman is in. I think he will explain that at the end. And university entrance scholarship, this is how it's calculated. I think that's the one that I'm going to just give you an idea how we calculate this now. What we do, we take a maximum of 6 subjects, but in those 6 subjects, we exclude life orientation. Now, if your APS is between 43 to 44, we'll give you 10,000 into your student account. If it's between 45 to 47, it will be 15,000. Between 48 to 50, it will be 30,000. 51 plus, it will be 42,000. So those are the scholarships that are available at Wits University. As far as student affairs is concerned, now this is, the area where we say, as a learner, when you go to varsity, there's a whole lot of, it's a different environment, a whole lot of changes that you're going to encounter. But the most important thing is to make sure that you balance your social life together with your academic life. You're going to go through a journey. Now, there's student affairs and center which provide centers and societies and clubs that you can just join or get yourself involved in order for you to keep that balance. I think I'm just going to bring to your attention to your CCDU, which is your career and counseling and career development unit, where you can go to the center to, in actual fact, that center is actually to assist you when you deal with academic stress, if I can put it that way, or the change whereby, you know, you from home, you used to being with your parents, now you are at varsity, you homesick, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling anxious, you don't know who to talk to. Some of you find that the qualifications are really dealing with you harshly, you don't know what to do, and you feel, I'm gonna give up. We do have a place where you can go and just go there, tell them your story, get them to assist you. You can also join first year experience team. You can also get involved in things like sports. You can get involved in cultural activities. You can get involved in politics, religion, just to make sure that you keep balance between your studies and your social life. The most important thing I think here is to make sure that you must not be taken away. So you must make sure that you strike that balance, because the ultimate goal of going into a university is for you to get that degree and move forward. Again, student affairs, if we look into sports, Wits has about 28 sporting codes. Now, there's different sporting codes, sports that you can go into. Within those sporting codes, there's sporting activities that you can actually apply for bursaries. So for you to know which once you can apply for bursaries, you can just visit sports, and then you'll be able to see as to this ones you can be able to apply for bursary if you are participating in that sporting activities. I'm not sure if Shaman is in again. I think he's going to explain further on this part if he's in the presentation as well. But if he's not in and there's anyone who wants to know further about how to get sports bursary or how to be involved, please visit the Wits website /sports. You will be able to get the information there. As far as our campus and residence is concerned, campus housing and resident, we've got 17 residents within campus. And in those 17 residents, they are all secured and they all have the necessary access that you will require for you to feel comfortable in campus. Professional cleaning, you will have your academic support, you will have your 24-hour security. So the most important thing is to make sure that when you apply, also apply for residence and take note of the closing date. This brings us to the end of the presentation. What is remained for you is to take that big step and apply. We are going to address some of the questions that you've asked, and if it happens that after this presentation or after we switched off, you have additional questions, please make sure that you contact us and ask those questions. We'll be happy to give you the answers that you require. We'll try our level best to make sure that we answer to the best of our abilities. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Shaz. I just wanted to open up the platform to any of the Wits staff and colleagues. Are there any questions that you would like to maybe answer verbally or elaborate on? Is there anything that anybody would like to? You're welcome to just unmute yourself and address any questions that students had or learners or parents had.
So, Shin, if I may, I've noticed that there's a number of participants that are inquiring about the opening of registrations for the 2021 year. There's a lot of concern regarding the 2020 lockdown. And if we can please just address that a bit more detail regarding the opening of the registration for 2021 and how the university will be accommodating the fact that we are currently under lockdown.
Okay, thanks for that question. I'm going to maybe leave that for one of our colleagues at the Student Enrollment Center. I think they would have a bit more information. Would anybody like to fill that? Kubi, are there any other questions that you can pick up? Please, just if you can, please address it, and then we'll try our best to answer those questions.
Well, from what I could see, that a lot of the questions were answered in the chat as they came up.
Okay.
So thank you very much for your colleagues for doing that. It's just that recurring question coming up regarding the registration process.
Okay. Okay, I don't think there's anybody that's managing to fill that. So I'm gonna take a shot at this in terms of the explanation. Obviously, our particular department doesn't have the in-depth knowledge, but as far as we've been made aware, in terms of the lockdown, we will be following government regulations. Obviously, the university itself meets, our senior executive team meets in terms of looking at research, scientific modeling, etc. So with all of that information, we will then be adjusting our strategy. So at the moment, there isn't anything that has changed except for the deadline for the NBTs and the observation hours. So we're obviously giving applicants a little bit more time in terms of completing those. But in terms of the deadlines, that's staying the same. We will obviously work with when the matric results are released. So we obviously get the matric results directly from the Department of Education. We will obviously need time to process offers, firm offers, and so forth. And generally, registrations would follow a few weeks after the results are released. So whenever the final matric results are released, remember, we obviously can't predetermine this. We actually are, to some extent, sort of controlled a little bit by what government does and what the Department of Education does. So we would have to follow suit, if that makes any sense. I see there is an answer also from Zianda on, which would provide a little bit more information on that lockdown. Sorry, would anybody like to elaborate on that question?
Hi, Sash.
Yes.
Hello. Is it possible that maybe we can share that communication that we send to schools with them, so that they can maybe send it to the parents and the learners about the NBTs and the one about the OT, the certificates, the OT?
Yes. We can
think if we maybe
certainly.
we can email it to them so that they just have an idea as to what did the NBT said about the writing of the those tests.
Okay, that's
because I think that communication has
fine.
quite a lot of information that can actually maybe put them at ease if needs be.
Okay, I'm going to try and find the link for that now, but we do have a Wits school liaison resource page, and we will be uploading. There's already quite a lot of information up on there. So if I don't manage to post the link now, we will upload it, that particular link, on the Wits SLO resource page, and you can find that on the Wits website. So when you go to study at Wits, and then you scroll right to the bottom right-hand side, you will find the school liaison page, and you'll find the information there as well. But I'm going to try to just find that particular link so we can post it now as well.
Also, while you're busy with that, I want to take this opportunity to thank the parents and the learners for joining the session this afternoon. Also, all the staff and members from the Wits University, thank you very, very much for offering us your time and your expertise. Mr. Naika, if you can't find that link now, perhaps you can just send it to me afterwards, and I can upload that onto the YouTube question and answer section. And it is visible and available there for any future viewers. I see you found it. Thank you very much.
I have, and I think that's going to be very, very useful. Remember, the organizers of the NBTs have since moved the dates to July, so that's when you can start writing those NBTs. I know that there is a lot of concern, there is a lot of fear. We will be posting information, so there's information on our website as well. You're welcome to contact the Student Enrollment Center directly if you have any questions about your applications. So we will try our best, our level best to assist and to help you guys during this difficult period. So yeah, best of luck with your studies. Remember that nothing is impossible. Even the word impossible, if you break it up, it's I'm possible. So yeah, best of luck with your studies, everyone. And thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, that's it from us.
All right, thank you very much. All the participants, if you are looking for further information that is not covered in these sessions, please call Wits University on 011-717-1888. That's 011-717-1888. You can also go to their website at www.wits.ac.za/ask-wits/, and a lot of information will be made available there as well. We are going to repeat this session as well. We're going to have another session next week, Wednesday. From Africa Teen Geeks, we thank you very much for being here. Lindiwe, I noticed that you might be around. If you want to say something from the Africa Teen Geeks team, you're welcome to unmute and quickly make a comment if you have time.
Hi, I actually don't really have anything to say, but I think what I would like is that the documents that you promised to share, if it's a link, if you can also share that with us, so that we can also send it on the newsletter to the parents, and also share it on our Facebook, just in case people want to access that as well.
Yes,
do I do have access to that document. It's actually copied it out. Mr. Nike was friendly enough to give it to us in the chat. I will forward that to yourself after this meeting, and then you guys can take it from there. Sushan, I assume that is open for public consumption, correct?
Correct. So that says on the NBT website. So students are welcome, and I think it's actually a good idea that they log on to that website on a regular basis, www.nbt.ac.za. So if you keep following that site and making sure that you just check that any new information hasn't been posted there or has been posted there, and then as well as the Wits website, we're constantly updating the information on the Wits website as well. Remember that applicants will be contacted directly from the enrollment center, so you will receive communication by email and letters and so forth. So we will be communicating directly with you as well. So just to alleviate any fears that anybody may have about misinformation or changes and so forth. Thanks.
All right, people, thank you very much for that. In that case, from Africa Teen Geeks, we say thank you very much for attending this afternoon session. Mr. Sushan, thank you very much for actually coming in and offering up your time and your expertise. And we will speak to you guys again next week at the same time, 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.